Games with a bone bruise in his foot. Young, a gamer. You wonder if he's got a little Willis Reed magic in him here in Game 6. Again, no Giannis tonight. Young struggled early on, turning it over. Chris Middleton in transition. Young only 3 points in the first quarter, as many points as he had turnovers. Didn't shoot it well. You could tell that injured foot, whether it was fatigue from missing the past couple of games or he just lacked the elevation, he did not have it. Jrue Holiday was dominating this game in the second quarter off the turnover. Holiday, little spin cycle right there. You saw him setting it up. Athletic finish from Holiday to put it up, and then the Bucks led by 6. It was not a terribly inspiring first half from either team. Late second quarter, Jrue's going to tip it away from Bogdanovic, flip it ahead. Pat Connaughton throws it down. Bucks led 47-43 at the break. Trae had only 5 points in the first half, but he's the kind of guy that can get it going in the second half. Problem is, he didn't. If you're a Hawks fan, this guy did. Chris Middleton struggled in the first half. 5 points, 5 turnovers, maybe trying to do too much. Third quarter, he did it all. Minute later, after the layup, not a lot of space. Kevin Huerter getting out to him, but he knocks down the 3. 8 consecutive points by Middleton. Deer District loving every bit of it. That one off the window, made the free throw. How about 11 in a row for Middleton? 1 minute later, he's got 13 straight points. Make it 16 straight points. The Bucks led by 16, but he wasn't done. How about another 3? 23 in the third for Middleton. The Hawks were 5 of 19 from behind the arc in the first half, 12 for 26 from behind the arc in the second half. 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They simply could not stop him. And then when he was not scoring it himself, he was finding Pat Connaughton for the 3. Bucks led by 13, under 4 to go. Middleton turns it over. In transition, Cam Reddish, Clint Capella, a sign of life for the Hawks. They were on a 21-7 run, cut the lead to 6. But the Bucks get it back. Jrue Holiday all the way. He had 27. And when Holiday wasn't killing him, Chris Middleton was. Holiday, the alley-oop. Brook Lopez throwing it down off the alley-oop. Lopez, who was so great in Game 5, not as strong in Game 6, but that bucket extended the lead to 10. Minute to go, 7-point game. P.J. Tucker, just his second field goal of the game. It's the 3, it's the dagger, it's the end of the road for the Atlanta Hawks, and it's on to the NBA Finals for the Milwaukee Bucks. For the first time since 1974, they're celebrating in Milwaukee. 118-107, Bucks win in 6. Here's the head coach, Mike Budenholzer.
Well, first, just congratulations to Atlanta, Coach McMillan, his players. Hell of a season. Amazing. Yeah! It's sweet. These guys have put the work in all year. They deserve to go to the finals. I couldn't be more proud of them. I love coaching them, and we got more work to do.
Yes, the work continues, and the Bucks have not messed around this postseason with a chance to clinch. They're now 6-0 with a chance to wrap up playoff series under Coach Bud. Now, Mike Budenholzer himself now 9-2 in clinch opportunities. That's the second best mark all time, behind only Ty Lue. The Bucks have not won a title since 1971. This will be their first trip to the finals since 1974. Milwaukee fell to the Celtics in 7 games that year, anchored, of course, by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson in the final season of his Hall of Fame career. This finals means so much to both the Bucks and the Suns. No player on either team has ever won an NBA championship. Kevin, that stat is crazy to me. This mark the first NBA Finals where no players have played the Sixers. So now the Bucks have an opportunity to get some rings on those fingers. We now welcome in NBA analyst Tim Legler. And I want to start not about the start of the game or the finish of the game. It was about a third quarter by Chris Middleton, something that just was stunning to watch in this game. What did you think about that third quarter performance, Legs?
Yeah, he took over the game. I mean, look, the Milwaukee Bucks understand the pressure that will be associated with a Game 7 at home. And you get that sense Phoenix went through the same thing. It's the last thing you want to experience because the pressure to make shots in that situation can be overwhelming for some guys. So Chris Middleton, I think, sensed that coming out of the locker room in that third quarter. We've seen this from him throughout the last couple of postseasons. He has an explosive scoring ability that's really right up there with anybody else in the NBA when he gets rolling, because the mid-range is his bread and butter. But when he starts feeling it from deep, the way that you have to guard him changes, and he's so good and so shifty at getting you off balance. Once you have to guard him at 25 feet, it sets up every other aspect of his game. And I just thought he showed great killer instinct in that third quarter. When you look at this matchup, no, Trae Young clearly limited, no Giannis. Well, who's the next most proven offensive commodity in this series? Clearly, it's Chris Middleton. And then the next guy is probably Drew Holiday. And then the next guy after that is probably Brook Lopez. So all of that talent on the part of the Milwaukee Bucks, that's what you're counting on if you're Mike Budenholzer. Somebody has to get hot. Chris Middleton was the most likely guy, and he showed an incredible aggressive instinct in that third quarter to basically end this game.
Yeah, so one player having the game of his life, the other just wasn't able to step up and really be healthy in the most important moment of his life. That's Trae Young. And you mentioned he was limited. He really just did not look 100% at any point in this game. What did you think about his performance and what he tried to do, at least in this game?
I give him a lot of credit for even going out there, because the player himself knows more than anybody else what you really feel like when you're warming up before the game. And you know what percentage of yourself you're going to be. And he was just a small fraction of what he normally is. And for me, where I saw it early on, he was so reluctant to pull the trigger on his jump shot because he just didn't know if he had the separation and lift off the dribble. Because if you think about the way Trae Young scores from the perimeter deep, it's typically off the dribble, and it's a lot of step-back threes. Well, to get that step-back three going to your left, which he loves to shoot, that means you're pushing off with that right foot. And you could just see, whenever he would go and get ready to go into that move, and you're thinking he's going to let it fly, he would not want to go ahead and take that shot because he just couldn't get off the ground, and he couldn't separate enough from the defender in his own mind to give himself clearance that he could get that shot off. He had some drives, had a couple of floaters, but the Bucks knew he was one-dimensional player. Once you knew that he was not going to be able to do damage from beyond the three-point line, and you could just funnel him into the paint the entire game, it just changed everything for Trae Young's night. So you feel terrible for him. The year that he had, the postseason run that he had, to have his season basically end on a fluke injury where he steps on an official's foot, you feel sick for him, really, in this moment. But give him credit. He wanted to gut it out. He did not want to be sitting on the sideline in case this was his team's last game. He went out there. He gave it his all, Ashley, but he just was clearly just nowhere near what they needed him to be offensively. And I think it demoralized them a little bit as a group because they knew he was going to be out there, but he just wasn't the same guy. And as a result, they were ripe for the picking, and Chris Middleton took advantage of that.
Yeah, so much respect for him for really putting everything out there. Hockey tough, playing injured in the finals, you know what I mean? But just a great performance. This team has so much to be positive of. Legs, we'll talk to you a little bit later, but I do want to get to that and what this team has to look forward to, because one team has to move on and the other going home. Plenty for this Hawks team to really be excited about. They made a coaching change with Nate McMillan halfway through, and they earned the 5 seed in the East. Then, after beating the Knicks and Sixers, they became just the 4th team in the past 40 seasons to make the Eastern Conference Finals with a midseason coaching replacement. So a lot to be excited about down in Atlanta.